And then who is a drummer you look up to?
Oh gosh, so many. Like I say, I've stolen from everybody. I would say as I'm kind of growing and my musical tastes developing, I was brought up in with big bands, jazz, swing. So obviously Buddy Rich, major influence, as well as Louis Bellson, but as well as many other drummers. I mean, Sonny Payne with Basie. Um, um, oh boy, trying to think. Then I started getting into drummers like Ralph Humphreys and John Van Alden with Stan Kenton, and then Peter Erskine, and then the rock drummers, the bands I got into, Chicago, Danny Seraphin, who I think is a very underrated drummer. His playing on those albums so musical. All the parts he would come up with, absolutely. I used to play along to those records ad nauseum. I mean, anytime a Chicago record came out, I bought it straight away. Loved it. Um, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Bobby Colomby. Um, and then uh, one day there was a single by an artist called Umir Deodato, a Brazilian piano player. And it was a Creed Taylor album. And what it was the theme to 2001, which is Also Sprach Zarathustra. He did as kind of like a fusiony, kind of funky version, right? And I listened to it on the radio and I went, wow, that's great. I got to go out and get this single. So I was still at school. I think I walked back from school and went to the record store. They had run out, they'd sold out of the single, but they had the album. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get the album. So I bought the album. I didn't know what the other music was like. And so in those days, I would put a record on and I'd listen to it once. And then I'd put it on again, turn the volume up, get on my drums and play to it. So I was pretty quick at picking up tunes, even at that stage. I was already playing with my dad anyway, so Um, right at the beginning so the singles are always edited down from the original track, but this was the full length track. And right at the beginning, there's this real fast, what I thought was a single stroke roll, and I'm going, whoa, hang on a minute, who is this guy? That's really fast. And then the groove came in, and that's why I bought the record, because the groove, the bass and the drums. Well, of course, it's Stanley Clarke on bass. It's also Ron Carter on bass playing upright at a part of the song. And the drummer is Billy Cobham. I got off the drums, I picked up the record cover, and I went, who's Billy Cobham? Who's that? I went, whoa. And then the piano player from my dad's band, he used to introduce me to all these new records. He introduced me to Chick Corea, and one of the records he introduced me to was Mahavishnu, In a Mountain Flame. Billy Cobham. I went, oh boy, who is this guy? And I started to try to play along to those records, and I go, whoa, this is tricky stuff. He's amazing. So that's where Billy became like from Buddy Rich as like one of my main players to follow. It became Billy, and then with Billy was Lenny White, who played with Return to Forever.
Yeah,
Beautiful player.
great drummer.
Oh,
Great drummer. I
I
love his
actually
playing on the Jocko's solo record. He plays
yes.
a bunch of tunes on,
Oh yeah,
and they're
yeah.
so good.
Oh, Lenny. And I was in a band, we were supporting ELO in 1975, and we played Exeter University. And guess who our support band was? Well, support for ELO was Return to Forever. So we were the band playing at the end of the night when after everybody'd left. So because nobody knew who we were. So I got to sit right behind Lenny and I got to watch Return to Forever. And I was already way into them by that time. And he was another drummer that played lefty. I'd already seen Billy in at the Rainbow in London, 1974, and he came out playing lefty. I went, "That's how I want to play. I'm going to learn. I'm going to change my whole drumming style and play left-handed." Um, but the other thing I learned from watching Return to Forever was not just watching Lenny, but watching everybody else and watching Chick. I was behind Lenny, so I could see right over to Chick. And what I was amazed at was Chick never looked at his hands. He was always looking at the band. And I went, what a great concept that is. I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn to look at everybody in the band, not me. And I've stuck to that concept ever since. And it's amazing you see a band play and the drummer's like, guitar. They're not looking at each other. Communicate, look at each other. So I play, I'm always looking around, unless I'm doing a solo, then I'm close my eyes and just wave my arms about. I'm bound to hit something. um, so that was a very big impression, actually, Lenny. Steve Gadd, of course. So Harvey Mason was a huge influence when I started, doing sessions, like a lot of sessions. I wanted to listen to how these guys were playing their sessions and copy some of the grooves they were playing and take them along to the session I was playing, which I think really helped me get through those sessions and kind of inject some different things into some of these songs. Um, so there's Gadd, um, Harvey, Bernard Purdy, Richie Hayward. I mean, then that's when it just started doing this. And I started listening to all these different bands, Little Feat, Ziggy Modelis, Dr. John. I was way into that stuff. Loved that music, that New Orleans groove. Um, and then, of course, there's the British rock drummers. Let's not forget those. Ian Pace, one of my favorite British rock drummers. Cozy Powell, Dave Mattox, who used to do a lot of sessions. I'm sure I'm leaving out people. John Heisman, Colosseum, used to listen to him a lot. Um, 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 Gosh, then it starts getting all these different players, which you learn from, you know, uh, and then we start getting to the younger guys. There's Stuart Copeland comes along with the Police. I hadn't heard him in Curved Air, but certainly heard him with Police, who introduced a whole new style of playing, which was fantastic. Um, Dennis Chambers, of course, absolutely stunning. Michael Shreve with Santana, Barrymore Barlow with Jethro Tull. I saw Jethro Tull in 1973, a Passion playing. Barry was amazing. So there's all these so many players. Carmine Appice
Oh
played
yeah.
with.
I was just listening to Vanilla Fudge before I
Right,
got on the call
really?
with you.
Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I love
great
Carmine.
stuff.
I love Carmine. He's a lovely man. Known him for a long time now. Um, and there's so many different players. It's hard to recall, you know, all of them. But I would say, yeah, anybody who plays well is always going to be an influence, and a pleasure to hear and watch, and yeah.
Yeah. I love how I was asking for one, you gave me about 20 there.